Okay, so this video continues from where I came down to Natalie's house and ended with the view that way. And now I'm turning to the right to continue the direction I was headed. I'll look off at the beach and the water first and then start heading down this trail. The rest of the trail getting down to the dock and the Palapa. As I come by here, you can see the kayak and the paddleboard. Samuel has left some gasoline and his phone along the way. I'm going to pause up here for a moment and look down at an almond tree or young almond tree. I understand the developers have planted these, if I understood this correctly, some of the almond trees and some of the palms along here. And then there's another palm, their second kind of palm called the royal palms, which I don't think they planted. They're the second kind, and there's a third kind that's also quite prevalent on the island. Here's a taller almond tree. Now when I come out to the opening here, I'm going to stop talking for a moment because I want you to hear the sound of a bird call. You hear that? They're a shriek. I'm looking up at the palm tree, so I point my camera up there. Expect to see the bird fly out. Well, getting closer. Just making more noise. In a moment there, you see her below the white dot there in the reflection? That is a osprey. Now I kept standing there waiting for her to move, but she didn't go. So now I'm moving along again. And I'm coming by where the other double beach lot is along the trail. I'll turn for a moment, look back at that lot. This part that's cleared of it. There are probably other places where you could build, but the developers have cleared part of that. And you can see the Palapa up there. Now we're going to come down the trail a little bit further, and I also pause for a moment along here to look at some curious holes in the ground. I want you to think about what do you think comes in and out of these holes. These holes do have spoil, unlike the tarantula holes, so these probably aren't tarantula holes. And some of them are on the smaller side, and there are a lot of them. And pretty soon we're going to see a couple of big ones. There's a pretty big one. And that's a pretty big one. And I think the last one I took is probably the biggest of them. So what comes in and out of those holes, do you think? Well, I'll explain in a subsequent journal entry. There's the the big UTV that is used to carry people around and supplies around on the island. And now you come up these steps and to get to the elevator page where the Palapa is. And there is the very interesting rock formation in there. It's a little hard to see. I tried to do different angles so the backlighting isn't too strong. It kind of projects out of the side of the hill there. It's clearly some kind of volcanic formation, and very interesting shapes to the rocks. These are all over the island actually, but they're very visible here. I turned to the right to look back down the beach from whence we came, and now we come to the Palapa. When we get to the Palapa, there will be a couple of things on the bench. When visitors came earlier in the day, they were treated to some pipas, and they drank those and then left those there. I look up towards the mainland here. You can kind of see among the trees there some of the mountain-like or hills. And now I just kind of scan down to the dock, which is pretty elaborate construction needed to get the dock out there. The tides are in the range of 15 to 18 feet, and I'll explain more about that also in the subsequent journal entry. I was asked how could they be so much there near the equator. And then at the end here, I just try to show you some of the bromeliads that are in the tree. They're very visible on these trees. They're all over the island, but they're very visible in these trees because these trees have lost their leaves.